Novo lit that shit bang.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crows of Judgment. And I want to talk about Jessi Smiles and Gabbie Hanna and the tea community. And I want to preface this by saying that I know literally nothing of Jessi Smiles other than every time her name comes up about Gabbie Hanna, right? Gabbie Hanna decided to upload this video series in which she was going to address a lot of the past controversies that she's been involved in and bring up why a lot of the criticisms she got were wrong and how there were certain people that were lying about her. Now, she never mentions Jessi Smiles' name, but Jessi Smiles, I guess, saw it and took to Twitter. This was on June 25th. It hasn't even been that long. Gabbie, I don't know if your plan for me in this series is to follow through with your threats from last summer of talking about our past. I do, however, sincerely beg you to leave my trauma out of it. Stop using the clips of me crying. You've done enough. Leave this out of it. And she put this clip over audio of her talking about people who tried to put a target on her back. I get it, Gabbie. We had a toxic falling out after our friendship ended. Please leave me alone now. Now, I want to be very clear. Stop using the clips of me crying. That's going to be kind of relevant for you guys because Jessi Smiles, I guess she had released 10 minutes of a 3-hour phone call that she had with Gabbie Hanna, and she said that she trimmed it for brevity and apparently left in her crying, which apparently would be, I don't know how to say it, but would be just kind of an emotionally manipulative thing to do, right? Because if you're trimming a call for brevity because you just want to get to the main arguments of the call, but you leave in entire chunks where you're crying, well, then I would say the main point you're trying to get across is how emotionally disturbed you are by the things Gabbie Hanna has done. Look at this. Gabbie Hanna trending in the United States. YouTube star Jessi Smiles addresses her history with fellow YouTuber Gabbie Hanna in a new video. It's a trash video. Like, I'm not kidding. It's an hour and 19 minutes long. Fully monetized, so, you know, get your fucking bag. But I was listening to it, and she said something at this point here. I just want to play it. I want you guys to hear this part, and you'll understand why I'm about to rant for a little bit.
You don't want to talk about your affiliation with Curtis Support or me ever again? You don't have to. Don't allow an interviewer to ask you about it. And guess what? Maybe the people that you've hurt will stop being so fucking upset, and then we can all move on with our life. But don't.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? Whenever I hear Jessi Smiles' name get brought up, it's always in relation to Gabbie Hanna, right? The Trisha Paytas situation, right? Gabbie Hanna uploads her first video showing that Trisha Paytas flat out lied about her, right? There's no defending what Trisha did, and Trisha is a gross, disgusting sack of human flesh, right? There's zero defending her in the first place. I don't know why people sided with Trisha fucking Paytas over Gabbie. Like, I didn't think there was a worse person than Trisha Paytas, but anyways, she uploads the first video showing Trisha Paytas is an absolute goddamn liar. And, you know, people start poking holes through a lot of the things the tea community's been saying about Gabbie Hanna. But it had nothing to do with Jessi Smiles. So people started going to Twitter because Diorio started the apologize to Gabbie Hanna thing. And immediately, like literally every response I saw from tea community people was something like, she needs to apologize to Jessi Smiles. But Jessi Smiles, but did you know that Jessi Smiles was assaulted and Gabbie Hanna talked to the person? Yeah, but Jessi Smiles, but Jessi, like, I kept seeing that response. And what I started to realize is Jessi Smiles is the tea community's favorite human weapon to go take and bash people over the fucking face with. As well as their favorite human shield, because as soon as they're being criticized for, you know, their lying and their misinformation in regards to Gabbie Hanna, they immediately bring up Jessi fucking Smiles. So at this point, like, I hear what she's saying in this video, and I'm like, It's not Gabbie Hanna who keeps bringing your name up. Again, Gabbie Hanna plans to upload her video series. The first 2 episodes have nothing to do with Jessi Smiles. As soon as she posts that she's going to be doing that, Gabbie took to Twitter to talk about, Jessi took to Twitter to talk about Gabbie fucking Hanna, not the other way around, right? And the thing about this video being a direct response to apologize to Gabbie Hanna, look, I'm not saying that. I'm saying Jessi Smiles fans are saying that because apologize to Jessi Smiles. They've been trying to get to trend, right? Gabbie Hanna will never stop. Hashtag apologize to Jessi Smiles. And I'm like, what are you talking about, right? I get these girls don't fucking like each other, but Gabbie Hanna did issue an apology to Jessi Smiles, and yet we continue to hear that Gabbie needs to apologize to Jessi Smiles, right? Or I guess the public as a whole needs to apologize to Jessi Smiles, and all I can say to that is nobody should apologize to her. Nobody should apologize to Gabbie Hanna if they don't want to, right? But also, it's become very clear to me at this point that people in the tea community seem to really, really, really enjoy going after Gabbie Hanna, and they love that they have Jessi Smiles to use in that crusade, right? Like, okay, all right.
Is that I'm pregnant, and it's not even like, oh, I'm pregnant, please pity me. Like, I'm fucking pregnant, Gabbie. I just had a miscarriage in January. I'm halfway done with my pregnancy, and I looked at my husband, and I'm like, I haven't even enjoyed it. I don't deserve to have to be addressing this topic anymore. I left you.
Okay, I need to point this out to everybody, right? Jessi Smiles is the one that jumped into this situation, right? It wasn't Gabbie Hanna uploading videos saying, I'm going to expose Jessi Smiles. I'm going to show everyone what a lying, manipulative person Jessi Smiles is. That wasn't stated by her or by anyone, right? Jessi saw Gabbie post a video in which Gabbie said that she was going to be making a series exposing all the past controversies, things that people had lied about. And for some reason, Jessi Smiles saw the video and immediately ran to Twitter to complain about Gabbie Hanna, right? Like, you cannot throw this onto fucking Gabbie. Like, Jessi's the one who keeps getting involved in this shit. Since my last video about Gabbie in 2019, Gabbie has been adamant that she had no relationship with Curtis Lepore, the man who arped me 8 years ago. Gabbie and I were best friends in 2014 and 2015. She knew my story. She knew my pain. Now, I thought it was pretty interesting. Actually, let me pull this up. The Gabbie Hanna timeline, January 2014. Gabbie makes offending tweets about Jessi. February 21st, 2014. Curtis takes a plea deal to plead guilty. 8 months passes. Jessi and Gabbie become friends after Gabbie apologizes. So I'm looking at that, right? And I'm assuming Diorio is posting a correct timeline, unless he's just pulled all that shit out of his ass. But if you're telling me that when Gabbie Hanna spoke to this Curtis guy, her and Jessi weren't even friends, because that's one of the biggest things I've heard people say. Well, look, it's not that she spoke to the Curtis guy, it's that she was best friends with Jessi Smiles. And I'm like, I really haven't seen any evidence that these two women were ever best friends, and this friendship that they had seems to largely just be a fuck you, let's just say we're friends so people leave us alone. Like, I don't know how else to fucking put it. But I find this segment of this fucking video, since my video, like Gabbie and I were best friends 2014 and 2015, like, that right there is very fucking manipulative. But okay, so this is the segment from Jessi Smiles' video that I really wanted to talk about.
She showed 7 to 10 minutes, I believe, of a over 3 hour phone call that she quite literally threatened me into having, obviously, because it was an over 3 hour phone call. It was very heavily edited and rearranged. I know that she said that it was only edited for brevity and that it didn't change the context, which I think would be really impossible to do out of a 3 hour phone call. And also, I don't believe that she edited it for brevity because she left in a lot of her crying. I think that she edited it to evoke an emotional response because she's talking about something that is very emotional.
I have to say, that's insulting. Gabbie, at the very least. I'm not sure if Gabbie understands what editing something down for brevity means, but everything I included was completely in context. We would talk about the tweet.
So let me bring this up right now, right? It's a 3-hour phone call, right? If you're going to trim it down for brevity, then you want to get to the main points of your call, right? And you choose to leave in large segments of you crying, then I would say, yeah, it does feel like you're being manipulative. It really does. And I mean, maybe you're not, right? Maybe in your head, what you were thinking is, I need people to understand how this made me feel. Fine, right? But the fact of the matter is, you're not. You're showing people a crying woman who's had to deal with these past issues, right? Even in the video, she brings up how she's pregnant and she doesn't want to deal with any of this stuff, and I'm like, Jessi threw her own fucking hat in the ring. I don't fucking get it, right? Jessi threw her own goddamn hat in the ring June 25th, where she started calling out Gabbie Hanna, and then people start trending apologize to Gabbie Hanna. So Jessi Smiles says, oh, I'm going to upload my own video talking about my abuse from Gabbie Hanna. And you have the fucking Jessi Smiles stands, or rather, the Gabbie Hanna haters, and they start trending apologize to Jessi Smiles, right? Or trying to get to trend. I don't know if it actually did or not. But I'm sitting there going like, Am I getting the wrong read on this one, right? Am I getting the wrong read? Because to me, what I see here is Gabbie Hanna is coming back and uploading these videos to expose, people that have lied about her, right? And she did a great job in her first her first video. The second one I thought was good too. Other channels have been pointing out how the tea community is just malicious and vindictive. And Jessi Smiles comes out with her video on Gabbie Hanna. It's over an hour fucking long. And I'm sorry, but it's not emotional abuse. It's not abusive at all to have a conversation with someone who you've accused of committing a crime, who, to be very clear, was not convicted of said crime. And the reason why I want to be clear about that is I have people saying, like, he confessed to doing it. They have a signed confession. I'm like, look, if they had a signed confession that he, actually ARPed her, then he wouldn't have gotten away with some sort of misdemeanor charge that he pled down to, right? I'm not saying that this Curtis person is a sweet or innocent man. I have no fucking clue about him, right? But when Jessi Smiles and Gabbie Hanna are not even friends, and somebody reaches out to Gabbie Hanna saying, hey, she accused me of these things, I didn't confess to them or whatever, and I just want to give my side of the story, and Jessi hears that and immediately starts going after Gabbie Hanna, like, I don't care if she did or didn't. Like, I honestly, I think that the best thing to do is get both sides of any story. But look, I don't know if it happened. I don't know if it didn't happen. What I can say is legally it didn't happen. So somebody like then, getting contacted by this guy, well, why wouldn't they try to figure out if there's more to the story than what Jessi Smiles has said? Does that make Gabbie a good person? No. I'm just saying that, like, this entire thing stems from that. You have people that are grossly misformed on the situation and think that, Gabbie and Jessi were like bestest buddies when Gabbie decided to like be bestest buddies with Jessi's, alleged ARPist and everything. And I'm like, okay, where are you guys coming from with this shit? Like, where are you guys coming from with this shit? Anyways, all I can say is I hear Jessi Smiles' name get brought up all the fucking time, and it's only from the Gabbie Hanna haters who constantly bring up Jessi Smiles whenever you point out the Bianca Devin situation, when you point out the Trish Paytas situation, when you point out T channels, like Repzilla, leaving out information, leaving out context, misinforming his audience and everything. And then the Gabbie Hanna haters will all show up to defend this kind of bullshit by bringing up Jessi Smiles' name. Gabbie Hanna says, hey, I'm going to be coming out with this this video series, and I'm going to show that, you know, I've been lied about by a lot of different people. She doesn't name Jessi Smiles. She doesn't tag Jessi Smiles. She doesn't call out Jessi Smiles at all. And Jessi Smiles runs to Twitter to start complaining about Gabbie Hanna. People start trending, apologize to Gabbie Hanna. She's getting a bunch of support now. And so fucking Jessi Smiles has to upload a monetized 1 hour and almost 20-minute video talking about how terrible Gabbie Hanna is, where she's excessively emotional, right? And I'm like, you know, like this shit here. Like, I'm pregnant and you're forcing me to talk about the... Nobody is. Woman, take a break. Don't mention Gabbie Hanna, right? I don't see Gabbie Hanna constantly bringing up Jessi Smiles' name. I see Jessi and all the Gabbie Hanna haters consistently bringing up Jessi Smiles and Gabbie Hanna. Like, I thought it was funny that she made that comment in her video that, you know, Curtis's name is constantly being brought up by Gabbie. I just got like, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. This whole thing here, like the fact that this is in one of her videos. Since my video about Gabbie in 2019, Gabbie has been adamant that she had no relationship to Curtis Lepore, the man who arped me 8 years ago. Gabbie and I were best friends in 2014, 2015. She knew my story. She knew my pain. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, honestly, shut the fuck up. You two were not friends when Gabbie spoke to this Curtis guy. Like, putting that line in there, you were best friends. You were absolutely not. Don't fuck off with that. And then you want me to, like, listen to this, like, fucking statement here, right? Where she goes on to cry that Gabbie is so mean because how dare Gabbie accuse her of leaving and crying to be, you know, manipulate people and yada yada. Fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. Like, I'm done, though. I am done. Anyways, guys, you let me know what you think in the comments section. We'll probably be talking more about the Gabbie Hanna stuff. It's just every day there's something new that comes out. But just as kind of like a side thing now, I think the reason why people are not letting go of the Gabbie Hanna thing and why commentary is not letting go of the Gabbie Hanna thing is because there seems to be no ability from the T community to accept that they've made any mistakes, right? I'm not saying that every single one of them uploaded videos on Gabbie Hanna maliciously and meant to provoke people, and yet I'm not accusing every single one. But there were definitely channels that did that. There were definitely channels like Repzilla that did that would upload constant Gabbie Hanna videos and leave out context so his audience just thought that this woman was the worst possible interpretation of Gabbie Hanna that anyone could imagine, right? There were definitely channels that did that. There were definitely channels that, you know, tried to bring up this Bianca Devins girl. And so, you know, the mom comes forward, talks with Gabbie and everything. Gabbie says the mom wants an apology. And then you have these T community people, you know, reaching out to the mom privately to, like, message her and shit. And I'm like, look, I should probably bring up Angelica Oles or whatever. I thought it was hilarious that Angelica Oles, like, uploads this video in which she exposes Gabbie Hanna for lying, right? And so she reaches out to the mom, and the mom says she didn't demand anything, and, you know, Gabbie Hanna's clearly lying. And then Gabbie Hanna comes out and says, hey, these are my text messages with the mom after Angelica contacted her, where she says that Angelica was making her uncomfortable, and she wanted to get off the phone with her. And I'm like, yeah, I can imagine that, right? Because Angelica, this is great. Angelica brings up Jessi fucking Smiles to Bianca Devins' mother, right? Like, I swear to God, Angelica's video is just fucking golden, right? Calls the mom. The mom apparently, I don't know if she lied to her or whatever, but the mom apparently wants nothing to fucking do with this bitch, right? Just wants her off the fucking phone. And Angelica's there, but Jessi Smiles, don't you know about Jessi Smiles? Wouldn't that change your opinion on Gabbie Hanna? Just focus on Jessi Smiles. Like, it's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. But again, because the teen community refuses to accept they fucked up royally, and they don't want to issue any sort of apology to Gabbie Hanna, who they've made out to be the fucking devil, right? They're going to contact Bianca Devon's mother, right? And argue with Bianca Devon's mother, right? That is just fucking golden. That is fucking golden. You guys are amazing. Top tier intellect. Fuck, man. Do not re-roll that stat at all. Anyways, guys. Again, let me know in the comments section what you think. I could be grossly wrong about all of this, but I get these vibes off of certain people, and right now my vibe off of fucking this Jessi Smiles shit and the Gabbie Hanna haters is that Jessi Smiles is just like the favorite fucking human weapon against Gabbie Hanna and the perfect human shield against all criticism about Gabbie Hanna coverage. But, I'm sure someone's going to disagree. I've already been called an ARP apologist. So let's just see what happens.
Mellow, let that shit bang.